Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel, Linux Bytes. So I was pretty bored and decided to start a small YouTube channel and share some of the developments of free and open source software that I develop. And most of my work are actually development of scientific software for calculating some mathematical problems or in different applications, right? So, but time to time, I like to develop some free and open source software for GNU Linux, or as we call it for short, Linux. So I wanted to share these things with you guys who are interested, and you may use these tools I develop, and you may modify them, you may make them, of course, better than I initially developed it. So the first thing we're going to do for today is that we're going to look at a very simple program that I developed to show the system uptime. My name is Ben, and I'm running under my current computer Arch Linux. I was a Linux user for several years, from 2015-2014. The first Linux operating system that I used was CentOS, and after that I went to Ubuntu, or Ubuntu as they want to call it. I tried Debian-based systems, and that's my first time. It's been maybe a month or two. I'm actually running Arch Linux. That's the main reason I'm running Arch is that I like to have updated packages, and it's much easier to deal with this, let's say, development of scientific software or any kind of software if you have some updated libraries and stuff. And again, it's not the case for every software or whatever, but still it is good to have that, to be on that cutting edge. And it has its cons as well. Sometimes things may break, but of course it's easy to fix. It's not that difficult. So we're gonna start. First thing is you have to be able to understand that we host the codes, right, on GitHub, and GitHub is a public repository, right? The developers host their code, source codes and stuff there. And you must have Git, Git, right, installed on your system. So if you're on Arch, you can just install it using sudo pacman-s and then Git, Git, right? If you're on Debian-based systems, it's also very simple. Sudo apt install Git, right? That's how you do it. Sorry for that, I'm a little bit sick. It's getting cold rather significantly. So once you install Git, then I recommend you, if you're interested, to visit my GitHub repositories, MSB Cyric Taku, and you can go to my repositories. I will show you here a little bit. So it's my public GPG or PGP key, and some software or free and open software I developed for different applications. So we go to the repository. We're going to start with something rather simple. It's called the uptime. Right, so you know that you can get your system uptime. Let's say how long it was that your system was running continuously without shutting down or without you restarting it. And it's good to restart this time to time. The reason is if you're upgrading your kernel, right, it is better to restart your system to be able to use that newly installed kernel. So this one, it shows the system uptime, days, hours, and minutes. So how long your system was up. And the instruction I provided here is for Debian-based systems. So you can use this if you're on Ubuntu, Linux Mint, the Debian itself, and all these derivatives. And it's based on Qt 5, specifically libraries. So one of my favorite GUI development libraries. Very, very good. And my favorite language is C++. I don't know why it's showing C here, but this is written in C++, and we're going to show how we can develop, how we can compile this. First obtain the codes, then compile it, then add a desktop entry or whatever. So again, it's under GPL license 3.0, so you feel free to use it or change it or modify it or distribute it, whatever you want to do with it. So I will be more than happy. So the first thing we're going to do, as I mentioned, we're going to install Git. So I already have Git installed, and we are going to go to my GitHub page for uptime. So the link is here. I will put this link in the description as well if you're interested. And go to code here, and once you have this link, so you can click on copy URL to clipboard, right? And then Git and then Control Shift V to paste it on your terminal. And once you do that, press Enter. So, I'm sorry, it should be git clone. Well, yeah, git clone, because we want to clone it to our computer. I apologize for that. So it's going to take it, and it's going to bring it to our computer, ls, to list the directories, and you can see uptime is here, right? So we cd into uptime, and we can clear the screen, Control L, or just type clear. Then you see all these things that was on a public repository that are on your computer now. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to install the required libraries to compile this. The first thing, you have to install Qt Base 5 Dev, Qt Creator if you're interested, Qt 5 Make. It's the most important one, and some other stuff like Build Essentials, you know, the things that you need to build a software or compile a software. And make sure you run this command if you're on a Debian-based system. Pretty simple, copy it, just paste it to your terminal. Then you ask you for your sudo password, you can install it. So I already have this thing installed, so I'm not going to go into very small details. They're very generic, so you can install them one by one. The other thing we're going to do is that we have to type qmake. So you can see in this file, there is no make file. What is a make file? So make file contains instruction, right, to tell the compiler how to compile the source code, right? Combining multiple files, creating object files and everything, right? But the first thing, you have to run qmake. Once you run qmake, it will create so-called a make file for us, right? And if you look at this make file, I apologize here. So you can see that it contains all these links and the compiler. Of course, we're using G++ and GCC and stuff, and all the optimization flags and everything. So we're not going to modify it. So it's made based on this profile, right? So once you run qmake, then you have to run make, right? Once you run make, it will compile the source code, right, based on the make file, and create, again, ls. You can see this green color here with a star here with the asterisk. So this one is the executable file. So it's the file that actually we can run, right? So once you did that, you already have the application on your computer. So you can use /uptime show. I have two monitors, so it shows on other monitor, but you will see something like this. So it shows my system uptime that is up about 21 hours and 24 minutes. I recently restarted my PC. And I'm using a Meerkat from System 76. So pretty little computer, I like it. So it's not that bad. So we already have this one. Now, whenever you want to run this program, you have to just come here and just run this command, right? However, sometimes you want to use it or make a desktop entry. So I'm using LXQT desktop environment. So then we have like a start menu type of thing in this left-hand corner in my other monitor. So you want to add it. So let's say you don't have to run it through terminal all the time. So just go and click on it, right? And then you don't have to use a terminal in the background to show this app. Like some people, they like to have their uptimes, let's say, at the corner of the screen, right? But again, this terminal will be taken. So maybe you don't want that. So you want to make a desktop entry. How to do that? There are places on your Linux machine, right, that it stores the desktop entries. So for example, the first one would be in the, if I'm not mistaken, user share application. So /user/share application. And here you have so many .desktop files, right, that they create your entries. Like in your start menu, you have a Linux mint, you have whatever desktop environment you're using. So there's a thing there, right? You can click and there's lots of software that you have installed. You can see that. So actually, these are all originated from here. However, I recommend you to use some place that is in the your home folder, and it's like a hidden folder. Local share application, right? So it's local for your user. So you can actually have it here. So if you're using only your computer as a desktop, I'm sure like all of us who are Linux enthusiasts or developers or whatever, we have a Linux desktop. So you can add it actually here. So it will be very easy, right, to manage. And we're gonna go through how to write a .desktop or desktop entry file. So first thing you can do a touch, and I already tried this before, so let's call it uptime-show.desktop, right? And you touch a file, so you create this file, and it shows here. So in this tutorial, I'm gonna use Vim, very good text editor, code editor, very powerful, and I don't use it to its fullest extent. So I have to actually. Some people use it very significantly, but I mostly use Emacs time to time as well. So then you have to press I to go into insert mode. And the first thing you gotta do, right, is to create this flag, right? So square bracket desktop with a capital D, right? And then capital E entry, right? Desktop entry. Then the name of the application. So in this case, let's call this one, if you all agree, uptime, right? Just no space, nothing, simple, right? And then you have to add a comment. Actually, you don't have to add a comment. It's good to add a comment. What this thing actually does. So the system uptime, right? And then the keywords that you wish to add, because if you go to your start menu, right, you have different sections and stuff. So we're going to get to categories and stuff. So you have system, you have programming, you have internet, and all that kind of things, right? So for this case, we're going to use the keywords flag and then system, right, which is a system thing, and it shows the process, right? So it's a system and process. You can separate them by semicolon. And then we go to categories, right? Categories, correct, yeah. So system with a capital S, and also we can call it monitor, because you actually are monitoring something. And the version, so just for simplicity, you can call it 1.0, right, is the first version. And the type of this thing is an application, right? So application. And then this is very important. Where is the file located at? So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna save this, right? So press escape, colon, WQ, save and quit, right and quit, boom. So we're gonna go back to my Linux bytes, and we go to uptime, where you git clone the repository and where you compile it. Do a pwd, and that is your location where the executable is stored. And executable actually is called uptime show. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just put it here, right? And then I'm gonna copy this executable name and highlight this guy. Hopefully allows me to do it. And then right click, copy to selection, and control U click this one. And we're gonna go back to the place where we're working on that dot file, right? So we cd here, and then we'll vim it again. Uptime desktop. And here, simply, I can just use Control Shift V, boom, to basically paste where the executable that we have compiled is located. So you always call to that guy. And the other flag is very important, is the terminal flag. So if you want your application, when you click on it from your start menu, right? I'm sorry, I'll call it the start menu. I'm not sure. Like, in Windows, they used to call it the start menu. I mean, it's been many years. I never use Microsoft Windows, but still, so I hope it's okay with you. I'm calling it start menu. So the terminal. And then here you can say either true or false. For this case, we want it to be false, right? So we don't want this guy to run within a terminal. So if you want it to run within the terminal, then of course change this to true. And then I think everything is okay. You just double check the desktop entry, name is uptime, comment the system uptime, sure, whatever. Keyboard system process, correct, categories system monitor, version 1.0, type application, and the location to have a compiled executable, which is correct, is home bin, Linux bytes, uptime, sure, correct. And then terminal is false. Now I'm gonna again write and quit, boom. So it's on other monitor, but I'm gonna go to my start menu and go to system tools, and I can see uptime, and I clicked on it. So that's how it is. So you can just keep it in the corner or whatever. So the interesting part with this is, the interesting part with this is you can change stuff. For example, let's say I want to change something in the code, right? So yeah, some of you might not be programmers or stuff, but you can change some very simple things. For example, it's very interesting to play around with it. You can go to Win, and if I'm not mistaken, is main window UI, user interface. So if you go here, then you can check for, let's say, this one. Let's say background color, right? So we have different background colors, right? If you remember this system uptime, maybe from the GitHub screenshot I placed, so you have blue and green and stuff. You can also change the color if you're interested. For example, let's do a test, right? So I just create a creator to create this one. So once you change the color, you can actually see it in real time. But here you can just change 153 to, let's say, 53. And we're gonna save this. And you have to make sure to compile the program again. So I like to do a make clean and make. So if you make clean and, so which means first the make clean gonna execute, then after successful execution of make clean, there will be a make command running on it. So first we cleaned it, and then we make it. So the good thing is, since we have a link already to where this uptime show program is stored, right? So automatically we can just go and execute it from our start menu. So we go to System Tools again, and I'm gonna click on it, and you can see the color, the blue color has changed. Actually, I like this blue color much better than the previous one. So you can play around with it, or change the fonts or whatever. So maybe in other videos we can go in detail how to actually develop this if you're interested or whatever. Like go through the code, or start it from scratch. I can step by step show how to use the Qt Creator and C++ to generate something like this. So I hope this tool is useful for you. I have other stuff on mine. Maybe just keep it here for, it's beautiful. Keep it at the corner. So yeah. On my GitHub repository, I have other stuff, so we can discuss if you're interested. Some of the interesting repos, for example, SSH chat is a new actually tool I developed, is based on SSH. So we can discuss this in the future videos. A very secured one and very simple to set up, because we know we have XMPP and other beautiful tools people have developed, and of course they're very amazing tools, but sometimes it's very difficult to set it up. Believe me, I tried, and it worked, of course, but it was very difficult to set up and stuff. So my idea was to develop something very simple using simple tools like SSH, and which every day we are using to SSH. If you have a server, if you have an AWS instance or whatever, use this. I developed a simple model or program to be able to exploit SSH and perform some kind of private, or offer some kind of private, simple and private chat. So maybe we can discuss about this later. So please feel free to follow my so-called GitHub if you're interested. I'll be posting some stuff, some interesting stuff. So thank you very much for watching this video, and see you in the next one. Peace.